What's up YouTube? We're back and my name is Tracy and I own a small handmade business, Songbird Market Co. And today is a special one because not only am I going to give you an update on what's happened the past 7 days, but I'm also going to show you how I make bookmarks. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, I've been busy. And when I say busy, I mean, I took it upon myself to completely gut this entire room, clean it inside and out. I'm talking Clorox wipes. I did some laundry. I went ahead and bought a lint roller and lint rolled like every surface. It was a mess in here and I cannot work or think straight if I'm surrounded by mess. And so it looks a little different than, probably in the last video. I now have my sewing machine situated in front of a window so I can actually see what I'm sewing now. And I also bought some organizers to keep all my fabric organized, and it's really nice knowing where everything is now. And that definitely helps streamline, my ideas along and help me, think clearly and hopefully be more creative. I've also been sewing and illustrating up a storm. I actually have some new items that I need to list sitting here on my desk that I wanted to showcase real quick. One being the newest book sleeve that I just made a couple nights ago. This is actually fabric that I sourced locally here in town from a cute little place tucked away in a quiet corner called Margie's So Fun. Everybody was really nice in there, super helpful. They really love what they do. I love supporting local. And yeah, they had a lot of cute fabrics, and this is definitely one that I got a couple yards of. And as you can see, it has like frogs and different types of mushrooms. It's pink. I love everything pink. And I also put in a kind of like a pink gingham, kind of also on the orangey side, gingham fabric lining inside, as well as on the tie itself. So I can't wait to put these up on my Etsy shop. Then I also made a large tote bag. I don't know if I could fully fit this in the frame, but yeah, this one took me a little bit to do, about 2 days to completely finish, and not 2 days of nonstop sewing, I swear. I have, other responsibilities. I have a little small child to take care of, and obviously my house, but this was a lot of fun to make. I really enjoyed doing this. I love all the colors that I incorporated. On the inside is also all pink. You're probably seeing a theme here. I really like pink liners for some reason, but I promise I'll have to cut that out at some point. It is humongous. Like, I could fit my entire arm up to my shoulder in this bag. And the reason I made this was because I am a maximalist. I like to haul a bunch of things, and even when I'm hauling a bunch of things, there's always something that I forget, go figure, that I wish I had. With that being said, yeah, this is a very large bag, and it also has a cute little bow tie and things. All right, so if you missed it in my last video, I am dusting off my Etsy shop after a 5-year hiatus, and the goal is to list one item per day for the next 30 days. So stay tuned till the end. I'll show you my progress for the last 7 days, and let's get started on some bookmarks. So here's the file that we're going to use for today's tutorial. I made this illustration in Adobe Illustrator as a 2x7 artboard and copied it 4 more times, so we get a total of 5 bookmarks once we cut it. I then exported it as a high quality PNG, and now we're ready to print. As far as what paper to print on, I really enjoy this inkjet glossy photo paper by Koala. I sourced it from Amazon. I love that it prints very crisp and clear. I've never had any issues with using this in my printer. It also dries really quickly, and the specific size that I use is the 8.5 by 11 inches, and this is a 61-pound paper, and it comes with 100 sheets. So the printer that I use for all my print needs is an Epson EcoTank 2400. This is actually my second EcoTank because the first one broke. Turns out if you don't print anything for 2 months, this thing will basically dry up and damage your print head, and of course that's not covered under warranty. And after doing research to find another printer to fit my needs and my budget, I just circled back around to getting another one because when it works, the quality is amazing and the ink is very affordable. Just make sure you use it even if it's printing something random. And look how good this came out. This is why I love that paper and why I love the Eco Tank. So these are the laminating pouches that I use. They're matte and they're made by Scotch. I like using these for bookmarks because it has a low glare finish and they just look really clean afterwards. All right, the laminator's cooking. You can see it's ready to go. We're on the 3 mil setting. Let's send it. So I put the sealed side in first, and I'm only gonna do 1 pass. I'll do a couple more passes once the bookmarks are cut, and that's because when you cut them, sometimes the laminate tends to come up, but we'll just go ahead and reseal that. All right, it's time to cut. And as a caution with this cutter, do not leave this unattended with little kids around. Like, I'm not joking, this blade is very sharp. I already cut myself once on it. I got too excited. I turned around and I accidentally went like that while the blade was up, and I had a big gash across my finger. This happened like a few months ago. So yeah, make sure you put this thing away once you're finished. And also lock it, if your lock actually works. So I have my laminated bookmark sheet, and my husband was nice enough to help me with cut marks. I couldn't figure out that for the life of me, so this is going to make it really easy. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in here, and I'm going to line it up to the blade down to where the cut marks are, and that should be it. And we're just going to cut away. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and move it down, line it up, move it a little back. Oh, not quite there yet. I like this to be perfect. There we go. And cut. Next one. And a little more. And cut. So my bookmarks, I don't remember if I mentioned it already, but these are 2x7. I like my bookmarks to be on a bit of the longer side, because I know the standard size is, I think, 2x6. Oh, good thing I didn't go. Just going to turn that around to keep our fingers away from the blade as much as possible. Remember, I'm going to run these back through the laminator so they get resealed in places where the laminate might be coming up. Look how pretty that is. This is what I was talking about with this laminate. Let me see if I could get this in the camera. So this is what I was talking about with this laminate. I really love a matte laminate because it just looks very clean. Okay, let's do the others. Look how good those look. So before I send these back to the laminator, I like to corner off the edges, and I use this Hello Hobby corner punch tool. It's okay. I feel like, you know, I could probably get a better one at some point, maybe something a little bit more industrial, something more sharper, because I do need to do a couple passes sometimes, but I mean, for right now, it'll do. I'm just gonna use, let's use the 10mm side. Okay. And just put that in, and look at that. And here they are. These came out so good. I haven't quite gotten to the point where I'm making double-sided bookmarks. Koala does have a paper that is double-sided photo glossy, but for now I'm just going to stick to single-sided until there's an absolute need for that. All right, everyone, and now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's open up my Etsy and check out some stats for the last 7 days. So as you can see here, in the past 7 days, since listing 1 new item per day, I have 48 total views and 23 visits to my store. 0 orders, but that's okay because remember, we're just greasing the wheels right now. And I'm also not using any ads because personally, I think that's just a giant waste of money. This is all just organic traffic being funneled in through Etsy search and some other direct traffic like Google and Bing. And if you're curious to see what new listings I have added, here they are. So I have 3 new seamless pattern digital files that my customers can download for purposes like sublimation on tumblers and mouse pads or even printing on fabric. I also added some cute stickers, a rainbow pattern book sleeve, and a 5-pack bookmark set featuring some retro cherries and hearts that I drew. And as far as listings go, and this might be helpful for you guys all watching at home, I took the time to read Etsy Seller Handbook, and there is actually a lot of good information in there. And there's also quite a lot of things that have changed since the last time I was on Etsy. So let me actually go into a listing and break all of what I learned down real quick. So first things first, you want to make sure your titles are clear, descriptive, and you want to make sure after the description what the item is using 1 or 2 key traits followed up after that. You want to let your buyers know exactly what they're getting. For example, if you're selling a coffee cup that is blue with the person's initial monogrammed on it, then your title should be something like personalized blue coffee cup with monogram initial. And according to Etsy, this is also a recent update that they've made, you no longer have to pack in your keywords into the listing title in order to connect your items with the right buyers. You could save those for when we get to the description box or your 13 listing tags later on. And then next, you do want a description of your product, and this could be difficult for some, especially myself. I like to type out my descriptions and include things like well-articulated use cases for my product that could resonate with a potential buyer. I like to also include material that I use and measurements, anything that helps people make a purchasing decision. And you want to try and load your description up with keywords if you want better chances on gaining rank in search engines. Your photos. So Etsy recently made an update where you can now include up to 20 photos. That's insane. And I personally don't think I'll ever upload that many because let's be real, after the 4th or 5th photo, you know you're buying a bookmark, right? But anyway, just make sure you show the item clearly from multiple angles and maybe with lifestyle context, like yourself, you know, actually using the bookmark or wearing the bag. You want people to get an idea of what it's going to look like, you know, in a lifestyle context. Attributes. This one was kind of a weird one for me because I couldn't quite figure out if it's asking me if my product is holiday themed or do I want to sell it during a specific occasion or holiday. So I just chose at random and filled in the color, the size, and added variations that I had available. So if there's anybody watching this video that could provide additional context around what is Etsy talking about here, I would love to hear it. Drop it in the comments below. And lastly, this is something I also learned the last time I was on Etsy. You definitely want to max out your 13 tags and use up all 20 characters available if you can. These can be keywords like handmade blue cup. Don't just put cup or handmade and call it a day. Be specific like a buyer would when they are searching for products on Etsy. Tags help your listings rank better in their search algorithm. You're going to want these extra relevant details to match you to your buyers. And that is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing my progress on Etsy for the past 7 days and making bookmarks with me. Stay tuned next week. We'll have some completely different content and of course, you know, another 7-day update on Etsy. Maybe we'll have some orders under our belt. Who knows? I look forward to seeing what happens. Thanks for joining me today and I hope you all have a great day.